Hey guys, just back with another market analysis for you guys. So this is for the Asian session. Maybe midway. Australian New Zealand session started around 2. I guess Japanese session was around 5 something. China opened about an hour ago. So just to point out that New Zealand dollar is the New Zealand dollar versus the US dollar, so the Kiwi is having very high sell volatility, so that could potentially have a opportunity to buy a long position in around in 3 hours or sometime in London, in the London session. So check that out if you're watching. Same with the Australian dollar. So we'll check the economic events to see what's happening. But it looks like that already fell 30 pips. So that's pretty high for those pairs, the Aussie and the Kiwi. Euro, pound, pretty flat right now, so it must be something to do with the news. US dollar, Canadian, slightly moving higher. Not too volatile for that pair, but it has been moving higher. Also, I apologize for the last 2 days. I didn't make a video. Yesterday I was dealing with some personal stuff, so I didn't get around to it. But today, feeling a bit better, so I made a video. So just to go over two things. So last week I had I'm still my robot is still in the works. I'm working with some numbers that I'm not getting I'll make a video on it, at least for part of the strategy, the expert advisor EA. So I'll show you parts of it. The whole thing's kind of personal, but I'll show you parts of it. How to set up, for example, a MACD. It uses a MACD, so I'll let you guys in on that. It uses a MACD, actually two. I'll show. Basically, I created I've changed the MACD in MetaTrader using code, using the C++ framework, MQL4, MQL5. Actually, no, I'm doing it in MQL4 right now. I've created the MACD, but there's a problem with the decimals. The digits is only giving me 4 decimals. I'm trying to get 5, so I'm working on that. I tried to use normalized double. It didn't fix it yet, so I'm working on it still. At some point, I'll show you guys how to set up a MACD like TradingView in MetaTrader. I'll show you guys how to write the code and all that. So for now, I took 2 manual trades last week. Only 2, and both are wins. So this was for USD against the Japanese yen. As you can see, I also kind of hid the personal stuff, like how much equity I have, how much the lot size was, and how much the profit was, just because I just feel kind of personal. Maybe it's not enough for some viewers, or they'll say it's not as much money, or like some girl I know will say, well, she's not making that as much as she wants or something, so I just kind of hid it. So basically it's just, you can see that it's the US dollar versus JPY, has the order numbers, the time open, time out. This is from my work profile. This is from Top 1 Markets. The execution was fast, there was no delay. The spread has pretty good spreads for most pairs. I think it's the second best I know, to be honest, 100% honest. So it has, like, for a Euro USD, excuse me, it averages out at like half a pip to, I think, a little, maybe 0.6 pip of a spread for Euro USD. So it's pretty good spread for that pair. Some pairs it's good, other pairs it's like average, maybe better than average. So check it out. It has a pretty good spread for Euro USD. I'll hook you guys up with links where we can both get benefits later on. And you guys don't forget to follow my work profile, where you guys get full analysis articles at the time of, at top1markets.com. Download the app and follow me in community. My name's Ilyas, Ilyas. I have final exam on November 15th, I have some exams, so after that, I'll be writing a lot. Right now, I'm only writing one a week, so I had to let my boss know about that. Okay, so basically, there was a huge dump. It was a flash crash on USD JPY. I happened to get it. It came up in the signal for me, a sell. I took the sell. The trade only lasted 3 minutes and 11 seconds, and it was over 100 pips. It was a sell. Open price 149.251. Close was 148.167. So I think it dumped more than that. We'll have a look in a sec. And I also took another one. It was a GBP sell. I think it was maybe. It was also last week, so it has the date on there. So I think it was on the same day. So that day had tons of trades. So that was Asia. No, that was London. That was early London and then London. So pre-London and then London. So like pre-market London, and then the actual London session. And then the New York session continued to have some huge trades, and since then it's been quiet. So that wasn't yesterday. It was a night. Actually, it was the early morning of yesterday. So like 2 a.m. or something like that. So this one was like 15 pips or so. So that's pretty. It's okay. 15 pips is good. At least as it's 10 pips, I'm happy with it. Because if you get that 5 times, that 5 times a week, you're looking at 50 to 75 or more. So that's pretty good. Yeah. So those were it. Those are the only two. Whoops. So I'll pretty much just show you guys what happened. So right now, obviously, the foreign exchange market is quiet, except for New Zealand, US, and Australian, US. So actually, let's just check what's happening today in the economic news, just to see maybe what caused that dump. So we'll just have a look. So Pacific time, we have. Sorry, I'm in Pacific time. Okay, no, don't restart. Okay, so I'm in Pacific time. So I'll just choose that. Okay, so Pacific time, this is on the mobile site. That's okay. Mobile's fine. Wednesday, 1 a.m. USD are, maybe I could add that. It's not a major, but only some people can only see it, so I might add it. Like some countries are only able to trade that pair, I've heard, so maybe I'll add it. Maybe someone from that country's watching or something. Okay, so this happened recently. Maybe there's a New Zealand bank or Kiwi bank. Okay, so there was something at 5:30. So it looks like there was no New Zealand news, but Australian news showed employment change for Australia for September. Actual 0.9k. Expected. Sorry, I don't know. I know what it means expected, but I don't know what the CONS stands for. Is it consensus? But that the middle one's expected, so that just means that was the expectation or the forecast. And the third column's previous. So actual 0.9k, so 0.9 thousand. Expected or forecast was 25,000, and previous was 33.5 thousand. So as you can see, there was a huge decline. So that's a massive decline. That's like minus 24.1 thousand difference. So employment. So here it says employment change. Employment change measures the change in the number of people employed. Job creation is an important indicator of consumer spending. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive or bullish for the Australian dollar, while the lower than expected reading should be taken as negative or bearish for the Australian dollar. So as you can see, the numbers were lower than expected, very, very much lower than expected. Very much. That's a massive decline of of change in the number of people employed. So some reason caused, if it's a multiple of 10 or 100, something like that, or maybe 1,000 or more than that. However many people, something caused a lot of job decline, at least in the month of September. Whatever the reason was, it was a huge decline from the last time. So that seemed to have caused the that seemed to have caused the heavy sell-off in the Australian dollar. Perhaps it also affected the New Zealand dollar as well. So there's an okay gap right now. So it looks like we could get along in the next session. Yeah, in the next candle at least. Because I like to, like, for example, if that started to move in this candle, I would not be able to get that unless I change the time frame. And I like to stay on the 4 only, the 4 hour. So if I change to 2 hour, you might get the same candle, or the 1 hour. But I prefer to just stay on the 4 hour. Because the bigger the chart, the more pips you'll get for each candle. So if you go to the 2 hour, you may only get half the pips. 1 hour is like half of that. One day would be more, 1 week would be more, and basically 1 month would be the most. So this is good. It kind of trades the session, so the 4 hour kind of goes with the session. Like, it has a few candles for New York, a few candles for Asia, a few candles for London, so it's good. So anyways, continue to watch that. Maybe we'll just go over so 12 minutes. So let's just see what else happened today. I didn't get any signals today since yesterday morning. So it hasn't been anything since yesterday morning. So let's just see what's happening. What else was happening? So the time, is it in Eastern time? Okay, so we can see a little bit before what happened with the USD ZAR news. So the ZAR, I think, is a South African rand. I do not watch it at all. Actually, sometimes I used to, but I stick with the majors. Some people can only trade that, so maybe I'll go over it next time, or today. So pretty much for high volatility news, the Great British Pound, Great Britain released a core consumer price index, or I think it's CPI. So they released a CPI. Forgive me if that's not the correct name, but that they released a CPI, so it's high volatility economic news. Looks like the measure was up, so that would have been more inflationary, slightly up, not very much of a change, but there still was a change year over year from the previous, so definitely showed that it was stronger for the Great British Pound. Month on month also was up slightly, so that's showing that Great Britain is still having signs of inflation increasing economically. So we'll just click on that just to consumer price index. Okay, so this consumer price index measures the change in the price of goods and services from the perspective of the consumer. So it is a key way to measure change in purchasing trends and inflation. A higher than expected reading should be taken as positive or bullish for the Great British Pound, while a lower than expected reading should be taken as negative or bearish. So we had a higher than expected reading, showing that the CPI year over year from an expected and forecasted perspective was higher, and also on a previous expected amount. So it was higher both from a previous previous measure. So the last report, whatever it was a year ago or a month ago, it was higher than that number. And it was also higher than what the analysts believed. The economists and analysts believe it was higher than what they believed. So it was higher both ways. So that showed stronger. It was stronger for the pound, higher, probably higher because it caused more inflation, perhaps uh, causing leading to more increase in spending, I guess, which is better for the dollar because more people have to, sorry, for the pound because more people have to spend more, I guess. So it was inflationary. Usually higher inflation is better for the currency, and it's weak for the stock market. So the probably like the FTSE, FTSE, and the UK 100 indexes, and the Euro stocks. Actually, not Euro. Whatever, which whenever is related to Great Britain. Those probably had a decline today. So that's what happened there. Other high volatility. So Europe had the CPI as well, year on year for September, showing that inflation decreased slightly from the expected point of view. So that was probably short term bearish for the euro, but from a previous standpoint, from the last measure of September 2021 showed that inflation increased overall almost by 0.8 0.8%, which is quite high. So Europe's still dealing with high inflation, as you can see. Month on month, also higher from the last month. So Europe's not doing good. So that was weaker for the euro. So actually, no, I lied. No, I'm correct. From a previous standpoint, it's not doing good. So it looks like going forward, the euro could be, bullish, because really from a fundamental perspective, the euro could be more bullish because the previous amounts are increasing, showing inflation is increasing month over month and year over year. Expected was the same, so unchanged and slightly lower, indicating maybe a short-term bearish fundamentals for the euro, and longer-term bullishness perhaps fundamentally. So that for the pound would be, looks like longer term bullish fundamentally because the inflation is increasing in Great Britain and Europe, whereas in the United States it seems to be going down fundamentally. So from an economic standpoint, that could be economically bullish for the pound, the euro, and potentially bearish for the US dollar from the inflationary measures. So today we also had building permits, economic news for September. So building permits for September, the report came out showing that it was slightly bullish for the US dollar because building permits measure the change in the number of new building permits issued by the government. So these are for I'm not 100% sure the exact process, but basically I think this is before the construction starts. You need to get permitted. So construction could be anything, housing like residential, could be like apartments, hotels, a big like real estate project could be like some kind of huge skyscraper, something like that. Some kind of business or just a residential building, house, building, tower, skyscraper, apartment complex, housing complex, grocery complex, mall, or anything like that. So it's saying that building permits are a key indicator of demand in the housing market. Overall, the housing market should be declining in the States, and like it should be showing less demand, higher supply, because they're increasing interest rates. So it would cause the real estate prices to go down in the States and the US. In the States and Canada as well, because Canada is doing the same thing. Pretty much everywhere, if everyone's increasing rates, the real estate prices will go down because supply would increase because no one's buying. because they can't afford the increased mortgage rates, because when they increase the rates, the mortgage rates go up. So lending becomes hard, becomes very more expensive, very much more expensive. Because if you're getting a 5 to 10% interest rate per year, that's huge, right? No one wants to pay that much. Something reasonable like point something or 1% or something is like what people want. So anyways, a higher than expected reading should be taken as positive or bullish for the USD. So a higher than expected reading was bullish for the USD, so we did have a higher than expected reading from a forecasted and previous standpoint. So it's 1.564 million building permits in 1 month. That's quite a bit. I mean, I guess it is. That's how many projects were in the States in the last month. 1.5 million. I guess that's. What do you think? Is that a lot or no? For the whole country? Is it the right amount, or they scale it by 10? It seems like it could be the right amount, but maybe not. So anyways, there was an increase from a forecasted perspective. It was higher than forecasted and higher than previous. 1.564, 1.530. That's higher than that, and 1.542. Yeah, so it's greater than both. So that was so higher than expected reading should be taken as bullish or positive for the USD, and the opposite would be lower. So there you go for that. So the US dollar had some high volatility news today. Canada had core CPI. Oh, they did. Okay, so that was slightly higher month on month. Not good. Lower year on year. That's good. That means inflation's still going down year on year for Canada, which is good. That means groceries and stuff would be getting cheaper. Like, not very much, but it's by 0.1%. I guess it does count though, because it was something. Month on month, slightly higher it looks, for some reason. But overall, from the last year, it's been going down, so that's still a good sign. So Canada's doing slightly better, inflationary-wise. Year on year, at least. That would be slightly weaker for the loonie. Fundamentally, like longer term. Perhaps this month, the loonie might do a bit better fundamentally because it was higher. CPI was higher from the month-on-month perspective, but year-on-year, longer term, bearish. Maybe this month, fundamentally bullish. So hopefully that helps anyone out. Crude oil inventories, not good for crude oil prices because they're in looks like they're in a decline. So last week they're in a surplus. Did I say last week? Last week they're in a surplus, which means they had more barrels than they expected, from expected and previous. This week they had less barrels than expected, and much less than the previous. So probably bullish was a bullish crude oil report, unfortunately, but it can happen. It can change week on week. So hopefully next week will be bearish again. Cushing crude oil inventories, so Cushing is in Oklahoma. So that is showing, actually that's bearish for crude oil prices because it looks like they had a surplus at the Cushing facility. So that's like the biggest facility in the States for crude oil. It's like the crude oil like center artery. So like all the crude oil kind of gets shipped out from there or something. It's like a major like artery of the crude oil supply and distribution network. So basically, yeah, so it's showing that they had an increase, so that's good. That's a bearish, they had a surplus, so it seems like it's bearish for crude oil prices fundamentally. No rig counts, I think that's on the weekend, so we'll go over that next time. some Fed speaking. No 3-star Feds though, or 3 bull for bullish volatility. Then we had the employment change news, and then we had China news. So tomorrow, what's happening? Whoops. So tomorrow we got a EU Leaders Summit, so European Union Leaders Summit. So potentially high volatility in the euro, and looks like US has initial jobless claims, so higher. So Euro USD looks pretty good tomorrow. Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. So high volatility for US existing home sales. So that's quite a few reports for the US coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow is US dollar. So just stay focused on the US dollar tomorrow. Also, I guess the stock market would be affected from that. So US is in play for tomorrow, and the euro. So Euro USD pretty much stock market, and that's about it. So fundamentals, that's all the fundamentals. So hopefully that helps you guys learn about how to read economic reports. They're not that hard once you know how to read them. Right now we went over FX, foreign exchange, pretty much moving. The Aussie and the Kiwi are moving. Everything else is flat. Bitcoin had a slight dump. Looks like it got bought up on the lower time frames. I had a low of 912. Okay, so it was moving. No 4-hour signals right now. Potentially that could continue to dump, we'll see. US oil. I guess the report kind of got the spike, as you can see. Report came out, was coming down to $81 a barrel, so that's good. So it was declining over the last few days, which is nice, so maybe we could see that continuation. I'm not much of a trend line person, you guys know that. But maybe I could draw a little trend line. So we could, okay, whoop, that wasn't very good. So hopefully, look at that, what do you guys see, right? Nice decline here. I'm not much of a wave trader, whatever you call it. Trend line trader, nope, that's not me. It's funny because sometimes on TradingView I'll post something and be like, wow, your style's so interesting, like you use numbers, like I draw lines, like we don't have the, like someone will just draw lines and be like, wow, like the numbers are so cool, like yeah, you should use the numbers, not the lines. Okay, this is not working, so I'm trying to draw one here. Okay, you have to move the blue thing, there we go. I'm smart, right? Okay, so pretty much seems like that's the trend, and we're in this channel here. I messed it up again. Oh, I deleted the wrong one. Okay, this time we'll get it. That was the peak. This was the, looks like if we could continue that to, weren't we far below? Let's just say that. And we'll have, didn't we already break below 79? Pretty sure we did. Okay, so let's have that one there and then continue that like that. I think that top of that channel should be moved over a little bit. There we go. Okay, so something like that. You guys get the idea, right? We're in this kind of channel. So it looks like we haven't broken out of that channel, so it's nice to continue that way. So it would be nice to break down into the mid-70s. So okay, we did, we broke down to 78 or so. So below 78, breaking below 78 would be nice. obviously for gas prices. So it looks, what date is this? September 27th, we came down to 75. Okay, so a break below 75 would be real nice. I thought we did break, yeah, so a break below 76, 70, 75 point something. So up there, 75, 76. So a break below 75 would be real nice and nice for gas prices. So hopefully we can continue that trend. So that's the 4 hour. That's the daily, so it's weekly, right, I guess. Yeah, so it'd be nice to continue down from where we are. Of course, from the monthly, did have the cross down, so it looks like we could be heading bearish for a while. That would be nice. Like, it's gonna take a lot of momentum for that to cross back up, so heavy sells right now would be nice. So we'll continue to stock market futures, NASDAQ 100. No signals. Right now it seems like maybe perhaps on my time frame. So if you're really looking for those signals, maybe a 2 hour chart or maybe a 2 hour might be better for you. It's not getting enough volatility for the 4 hour. It seems too often. I actually made a trading friend. She said she only trades futures, NASDAQ and S&P futures, and I told her I don't really get signals for that. Like, there was like one here. That was like last week or so. Actually, no. I was like yesterday, but there wasn't it wasn't even that much of a gap. So it was like not too volatile on the 4 hour. It looks like it was actually, but by the time the candle closed. So it looks like people are trading this on a lower time frame, perhaps a 2 hour or a 1 hour, maybe even like a 15. That might be right for you. For me, I'd rather stay on the 4. Ethereum, kind of same as Bitcoin right now. Okay, this is getting long, so we'll just kind of conclude it here. XRP. Oh, had the signal. Okay, that was nice. Had the signal. Sorry we missed that, guys, but there was a signal. Whoops, I messed that up somehow. Okay, so it looks like we did have the signal on XRP. So XRP has been more volatile, it seems like, than the other pairs. Things we didn't go over before. So let's go for a Dogecoin USD. I think I added those actually. There we go. So I did add those for you guys. So Doge has been Dogecoin has been volatile. Looks like actually some nice signals here. So yeah, there you go. You guys looking for signals? We got some on Dogecoin. It's always nice to get more signals. So it looks like there was one spike here with a 10 pip gap. It's not really a pip, I guess, but it's like a decimal 10. Looks like pretty good potential. Had the bear signal here. So it might be worth checking it out. Right now it's kind of flat, no signal right now. And we'll check out Sheeb. Had the dump, but no signal really. Maybe low volatility, no, low volume. You can always check the volume by going on TradingView and see it just says vol 245.5B, so that means like 246 billion shares of this. Looks like the last candle was more volatile, so you guys can check out the volatility on anything. They've added that. I think it was recent because I haven't seen it. Bank stocks, they were in the news yesterday, so they did have the signal. I'm not sure how well the MACD moving average signals work with bank stocks, but there was a signal. It seems like it works best for the Forex majors. maybe higher stocks like bank stocks, big bank stocks, it would work good because big banks are bought and sold. So anyways, we had the open at 117.53, so it did gap lower at open at 6:30, 6 or 6:30. I can't remember when the stock market opens up. I just know 6 o'clock starts the session for New York, so pre-market, I guess. But it looks like a gap lower, and it had the nice signal, kind of like that GBP open this week. Like it gapped lower, but the MACD was going up, so that was the easy one. MACD lines were closing together, showing the bullishness. That was a nice one, I guess, if you're trading a account, some kind of stock account. $5 profit in one candle. So 117.53 to 122.49. However much percent that is. If you're trading a million lot, that would have been nice. But it's kind of expensive, but maybe you're using leverage, so would have made money there. Anyways, it was a nice trade. Not too many signals though for banks for banks. So you just have to check them. You might get one, you might not. Maybe one a week or something. It's like it's less than 4x. And we'll just go over a few American stocks. I'll probably add them. So it looks like that was a common thing for bank stocks because the American ones also had the signal. So JP Morgan had the signal. Also had a signal there a couple days before that. Huge though. That was 10% for JP Morgan or something like that. So that was a big trade. So I will actually probably add that right now. Watch list. I'll add that for you guys so we can keep up with bank stocks. Why not? They're cool, right? So we'll just add them. Okay, so JP Morgan. Comment on anything you want to see or want analysis on. I'll add Bank of America. That's not the symbol. It is. Why is it BAC? Bank of America Corporation. Okay, that's right. I had it in my head, but I didn't know if I was right or wrong. Is there one more? Goldman Sachs? GS, right? Oh, I had like Bank of Montreal and stuff too. Canada Trust and TD, Canada Trust, Dominion, Toronto, and like I'll add CIBC and stuff like that. Oh, what's the other one? Scotiabank and HSBC. I'll add all those later on. What did I say? Goldman Sachs, right? GS. Goldman Sachs. There you go. So it looks like I think all the banks had some kind of signal that was stock market wide. So yeah, so there you go. Longer analysis than usual. Hope you guys like it. I'll see you guys next time. If you guys like the channel, you can like and subscribe. I guess watch that Kiwi and the Aussie this session. If you're watching, you can like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.